Hey, it's Brandon Wright, Right Stuff Media. So in the last 2 weeks, I've had multiple people come to me and ask me, Brandon, how do I hire? So hiring, I think, is going to be the topic for today. And I want to share with you, this is something that I did okay. I mean, I didn't do great for a long time. And it wasn't until I developed the process that I'm going to share with you that I started getting the people that made my company better. And it's the type of people that you want to work with, that you get excited to work with. And it's the people that you can't wait to go to work in the morning to go and be with and to accomplish whatever it is, the goals that you have set out. I mean, that's the purpose of owning a business, is enjoying the people that you work with. So I constantly hear over and over from employers that their frustration is employees. And believe it or not, I just heard of a company yesterday that closed their doors this week or last week because they were tired and frustrated with employees and they just gave up. Now, this person was at retirement age anyways, but that's not the way you want to go out. That's not the way you want to close down your business you've had for years because of the staff that you have. Because ultimately it comes down to, you're the one who hired them. You're the one who controls the culture in your company. And so we have to accept responsibility for that. If I have employees that aren't performing, that's what I have to own as the owner. So here's my hiring process. And I want you to listen to what it is that I'm sharing and then think, what is it that I could do in my business? What is it that is unique about this? And then put your own spin on it, right? Listen to what I have, but think for yourself and develop your own hiring system. So the first step is really, how do you go and find the right employee? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to write an ad, and that's not putting in a job description because job descriptions are boring, right? So you want to write an ad that sells your company and the position, that someone's going to read that and say, wow, that looks like a company I want to work for, and that's a job that I want to do. Even if I'm not qualified for the job, that sounds like something I want to do. That's what you want to do, is you want to write an ad. And what I would suggest is that you hire a writer. Someone that I use, Jennifer Lawhead, I'll tag her on this post. She's a writer that writes things that I have an idea, and she makes it even better, makes it look good and appealing. So step number 1 is write your job ad as if you're selling the position as you would as an advertisement. The second thing is finding out what you're going to pay that person. Now, this is a great discussion because a lot of people that I talk to, they want to start them off at a lower wage, and then when they get to a certain level, then they're going to pay them a higher wage. Well, here is the problem with that, is that you want to start them off at a wage that you're going to attract the people that you want to attract, not the people at the lower wage that you're attracting. So number 1, you got to come up with, if I found the right person, how much would I pay that person? And just pay them that wage. I mean, this is a reason why your business has to be profitable, because we want to hire great employees. So come up with a wage, right? If it's 14 or 15 to start off and then you move them up to 18, pay them $18 an hour. Go for that wage that you want to attract the right person. Because here's what I don't want, is I don't want to hire somebody and in the first 3 months, call this the onboarding process, that they have to prove themselves, because you should have that anyways. But you don't want them to financially struggle. You don't want them to stress, because the reality is, if they're looking for a job, you're not the only person they're looking at. And what happens if you hire them at one rate, and then all of a sudden you accept and you bring them on, and then another employer that they've interviewed with finally makes their decision and hires them, steals them away. That's happened to me. So you can take my experience on that. So find a wage that is attractive, that you can afford, that you're willing to pay someone great, because this is what we want to do, is find someone great. Now, the next thing you want to do is figure out where do I find this person, right? And I think this person is someone that typically is going to be like who you already employ, right? I find a lot of employees that I hire are friends or connected to the people that I already have because I employ great people. They know great people, and they're going to know when they put their name to that referral of saying, hey, I'm going to recommend this person, that they're putting their name on the line. That gets you good referrals is from your current employees, your friends, social media. And then here's the last thing, job boards. Now, job boards gets your advertisement out to a lot of different places, and there's hundreds of them, and I don't have the time to put that. So what I used was hiringsystems.com. So hiringsystems.com, it's on my radio website, rightstuffradio.com. You can go and click on that banner, and you can even tell them that I sent you because I have a good relationship with them. But and I think the other ones do similar of the same type of characteristics in this program. So hiringsteps.com, what they do is they post the ad for you to all the different job boards, so you don't have to do that. You can also pay $15, $30, something like that, and also post it on Craigslist. But it also gives you a link to where you can use that link for your sales position. Now, here's the unique thing about this, and this is why I love this type of system, is that I set up 3 different questions, and these are questions that the applicant has to answer in their own words. And then you can create as many as you want, but 3 is the magic number, according to these guys. And then you can create 5 questions that are yes or no. Do you have a criminal background? Is your driver's license valid? Are you currently employed? Whatever simple yes or no questions are. And then when the applicant uploads their resume, they answer those 3 questions. You can hear how they would respond to those. And typically that's going to be a skills or a culture question or a mixture is what I'm looking for. And then they're going to grade them on the yes or no question. And then they, of course, they've uploaded their resume. And once they upload their resume, this system then will call the person once they close the save image or saving their application. It calls the applicant and it reads them a voice, in my voice, a question. And then what that does is the person has to respond. So what this does as an employer that's hiring is I get to hear that person's voice. I get to hear how they respond to that question. And this is great if it's a customer service representative or someone who's going to be answering the phones, because then you can hear what it is that they're saying. And then you also get grades from the applicant's questionnaires. So if they answered no and you want yes, or vice versa, it'll give you how many they got wrong. And it'll give them or give you a color code to that person. Now, what I like about that is I can immediately look at, let's say I get 50 applicants and I want to go through them real quick and I can see which ones are green. Those are all great applicants. If they're yellows, I'm still going to look at them. But if they're reds, there's a reason. So what I'm going to do with the reds is I'm going to automatically look at it, see why, and then I'm going to put them in the file where I'm not even going to bother putting them into the hiring process. So the hiring process, this is what I'm going to share with you next is I love the online process, because the next thing I do is when I find an applicant that's worth talking to, I call them up and I ask them 5 different questions. And those 5 different questions are going to be real simple. They're going to be technical and they're going to be on character. And so when I ask them those questions, I'm going to grade them. And then I can, in the online software, hiringsteps.com, I can then move them to put in notes. I can put them into possible candidate, or if they aren't a good interview over the phone, I can put them in the non-hireable section. The reason for this is that I'm a busy guy. I want to have a nice streamlined process that can stay organized. What I did in the past was I tried to manage everything by email, and I get too many emails to really take the time to put them in a certain file, keep them organized. Then I miss people, and I've been, I missed people before that have been good applicants just because I get so many emails and I skip that email. I've lost out on a good applicant. So I ask them the 5 questions and I go through all the different applicants. The second thing I do is then I bring them in for an in-person interview. And I typically make this about an hour. And in this hour, what I do is I'll ask them about skills. I'll ask them about their personal life. I'll ask them about their professional life. I want to get to know them. I have 5 core values in my company. I want to see the answer to their questions. Do they align with my core values? Do they have the skills to do the job? Or is this a job that they have a great personality, but yet I can teach them the skills? So you take all these different factors into this 1-hour meeting. If it's great, sometimes it goes an hour and a half. But this is really where you get them in the, yes, I would hire them, but this is the rest of the process, right? I'm going to tell you the but. So once we finish up all the hour-long interviews, then what I do is I narrow them down to anywhere between 5 to 7 applicants. And then what I'll do is I'll send a DISC assessment, which is a behaviors assessment that tells me what stresses them out, what strengths they have. And I found this to be really effective. Now, I also send them a skills assessment. Now, a skills assessment is for the specific job that they're going to do. So I can see, where are they strong? Where are they weak? And really putting the personal behavior to the DISC profile to the skills assessment gives me a great idea of what type of person that they're looking for, or what I'm looking for, and what type of person that they are. And so the next step, what I do is I'll have a culture interview. And this is where I'd have my team that I love and trust, my team, to make the decision of, will this person fit into our culture? And I'm not part of this interview. So what I do is I have the team interview them and then come up with notes on nothing to do with skills, but on their character. Will they fit in here? Are they good personality-wise? How did they greet you coming in the door? There's all these different little things that we look for. And so when they make their pick on the culture and their top 1, 2, 3 pick, it should align with my 1, 2, 3 alignment. So then with the 1, 2, 3 applicants that I have left, I'll call them in for a second meeting. And what I'll do is I'll email them the skills assessment and I'll email them this profile. I'll ask them to read it and ask them to be prepared for that on the next interview. And so what I do is in that next interview is we'll just go through those pages of the assessment. And then when they go through that assessment, they can really discuss. And what I do is I ask question after question. Does this look like you? Do you disagree with anything? If you do disagree with this, why is that? Or where have you seen this happen into your life or your professional career? Because what I'm looking for is this person into self-development? How much self-awareness do they have? Because if you're going to work for me, we got to have some crucial conversations at different times where I want to be able to understand this person, how they react, how should I approach them, and really, are they going to fit into my type of organization? Because that is crucial. Because if someone fits into my organization and they love what they do, they're going to become a great employee. So once we go through that skills assessment and the person and the character, the DISC profile, then what we'll do is I'll pick the final applicant, bring them in for one last interview, and then I'll make them an offer. But before you make an employee or a prospect, call them an applicant, before you make them an offer, here's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't do. And that is, how much do you need to live on? I mean, really, you have to understand the people that I want to hire, they have a mortgage, they have a family, they have a budget. If they need $3,000 a month to live on and I'm offering them less than that or whatever, just any type of number, they're going to come in here and they're going to say, I will work here temporarily, but this is not enough money to live on. And when I hire somebody, I want to make sure that they can not only live, but they have a little bit of money left over. And really, I want them to not have the financial burden while they're working for me. I don't need to have any more stress upon them when they're starting their onboarding process of starting to work for my company. So make sure that before you just come up with what you're going to pay them, make sure find out what it is that they need to live on. And like I said before, when you look at how much you're going to pay somebody, the more you pay, the better person you're going to find. Don't try to go cheap, because if you go cheap and you try to pay people less, you're going to have lots of turnover. And on that final day, when you offer them the offer that you're going to make them to come work for you, this is about a month and a half down the road. It takes time. And people say, why do you take so much time? You could lose your applicants. They might take another job. Well, here's my response to that. Is if they really, truly want to work for me, they're willing to go through the hoops, that knowing that I take the time to make the right decision. And by me taking a month and a half to hire somebody, I know that they're committed when they come in on day one. I know that they want to work for me. I know they want to work for the company, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who's motivated, committed, and is going to be loyal to the company. So that's my hiring process. I'm going to put it out as a free download. I'm working on it right now. So those of you that are interested in reading that, you can take yourself through that, apply that to your own company, and really think about what I've told you. And then how can you make that your own in your own business? What works for me is not or may not work for you. So do what works for you. But look at those details. How do you find the right person? Where do we find them? What type of process? Where can I go out and find them? And then how do I interview? Because how you interview is going to have a big impact on whether you know the person before you hire them or you're hoping that it's going to work out. I want to reduce that hope that they're going to work out. So thanks for watching. If you haven't been over to Right Stuff Media, that's with a W. I offer my first book I wrote, Redesign, Experience the Fun, Freedom, and Profit in Your Business. It's a free download. Go to rightstuffmedia.com, and I'll be on tomorrow, and we'll talk about where do you go find these people and how to attract them and some of the tips that I've learned over the years. Hey, have a good day. Thanks.